My dear students, today I sent this audio clip for you on the last portion of the text Strong Roots by APJ Abdul Kalam. This is the third and last audio clip on the text Strong Roots. Already 2 audio clips have been sent to you. I hope that you all have listened to the audio clips sent to you very sincerely, and after that you have gone through the text and understood the part of the text that I have analyzed in the 2 audio clips very well. Now today I am reading and analyzing the last portion of the text Strong Roots. Now dear students, before listening to this audio clip, I would like to say to you, please listen to the 2 audio clips once again for your better understanding. Now I am starting reading and analyzing the last portion of the text Strong Roots. I remember my father starting his day at 4 a.m. by reading the namaz before dawn. Kalam has remembered here, has recollected here, that his father would start his day at 4 a.m. That was his daily routine. And he would start his day at 4 o'clock after reading the namaz. Namaz is the prayer of Muslim community. Kalam's father was truly a religious person, was a pious person, and prayer was his indispensable part of life. So he would never forget attending the prayer or reading the namaz, and after finishing his prayer he would start his day when it was 4 o'clock and it was the time before dawn. After the namaz he used to walk down to a small coconut grove we owned. Kalam's family had a small coconut grove, and every day Kalam's father would walk down to that after his prayer or after the namaz was over. About 4 miles from our house, a small coconut grove was that a small coconut grove that Kalam's family had owned was 4 miles away from their house. Now every day after finishing namaz, Kalam's father would walk down to that was 4 miles from their house. He would return with about a dozen coconuts tied together, thrown over his shoulder. Now when he would return from the small coconut grove, he would return with a dozen of coconuts which were tied and thrown over his shoulder. And with a dozen of coconuts thrown over his shoulder, tied and thrown over his shoulder, Kalam's father would return from that small coconut grove. And only then would he have his breakfast. Now after returning from the small coconut grove, Kalam's father would take his breakfast. That was his daily routine. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. Now Kalam's father was a very punctual man, was a very disciplined person. He would never break his routine. He would never separate himself from this sort of routine. Every day he would read namaz before dawn, and It was 4 o'clock when he would start his day. Obviously, after reading the namaz. And after reading the namaz, after finishing his prayer, after finishing reading the namaz or after finishing his prayer, he would walk down to their small coconut grove. And from there, he would return with a dozen of coconuts. That was the daily routine, and this routine was always maintained by him even when he was in his late 60 years of age. Even when he was in his late 60 years of age, he would maintain this routine. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. So that was Kalam's father's way of spending his days regularly. I have throughout my life tried to emulate my father in my own world of science and technology. Now Kalam has stated here that he always tried to follow his father. He tried to follow his father in every walk of life. In his early childhood and even when he was in his own working field of science and technology. He tried to be how his father was, disciplined, punctual, and so on. He has always tried to follow his father. Emulate means follow his father in his own world of science and technology. He always tried to lead his life in disciplined way as his father would do. I have endeavored to understand the fundamental truths revealed to me by my father. We have already come to know that Kalam has learned so many lessons from his father. His father was truly an educated person. Though he had not much formal education, he was truly an educated person. He had much knowledge of the human life. He had much knowledge of the basic truths, the fundamental truths of human life. And Kalam had learned all these from his father. The basic truths of human life. The fundamental truths means basic truths of human lives. There are various basic truths of human life, and Kalam had learned all this from his father. Now, when Kalam was mature enough, when Kalam was in his own working field, in his own career, he tried to understand all these basic truths that he had learned from his father. He would ponder over, he would meditate himself on all the basic truths that he had learned from his father. And through various reasons, various explanations, various illustrations, Kalam had tried to understand all these basic truths. And when he had been able to understand all these basic truths, he came to feel convinced that there exists a divine power. He came to believe firmly, or he came to have a strong faith or strong belief in the fact that there is an existence of a divine power in this universe. Remember this, there is an existence of a divine power in this universe or in our life, the divine power, the power of the power of the divine being is with us. Now this is quite surprising. Though Kalam was an eminent scientist, though Kalam's world was science and technology, he had a strong belief in the fact. He came to regard this as fact that there is an existence of divine power, and that divine power can lift one up from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure and guide one to one's true place. This is quite surprising, but through various illustrations, explanations, and reasons, Kalam came to believe that the divine power is there with us. And he also came to believe that divine power removes our distresses like confusion, misery, melancholy, failure, etc. We may have various sorts of distresses, various sorts of troubles, various sorts of negative aspects, and we can be able to remove all this with the help of our divine power. The divine power will be with us, that will make us remove our distresses of all sorts. But certainly, as is suggested by Kalam, as is illustrated by Kalam or Kalam's father, that we must have our own endeavor to get rid of the distresses of all sorts, or to remove our crises of all sorts. The divine power is with us, but it is not that we must not have any endeavor. The divine power will remove our distresses. That is not true. Kalam would believe in that divine power, but at the same time he had belief in our own endeavor to achieve success, avoiding or beating failure. And Kalam also has stated that the divine power is that which has made us, or which has brought us to our own places or positions. Clearly speaking, what we are, how we are, depends on our divine power. Obviously, apart from the divine power, we must have our own endeavor. And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, he is on the road to freedom, happiness, and peace of mind. This is the last line of the text Strongholds. In the last line, Kalam has stated that every individual must separate himself or herself from emotional as well as physical bond, mental or physical bond. And if one succeeds in separating himself or herself from emotional and physical bond, he or she will be able to achieve freedom, happiness, and ultimate peace of mind. The line is, and once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, he is on the road to freedom, happiness, and peace of mind. The last line is very important line. In this line, Kalam has given us an important message that to achieve freedom in life, happiness in life, and peace of mind, one must sever or one must separate, one must have loss connection from our mental or close connection or affinity, you can say. We must lose our affinity or obsession from our physical and mental bond. The text strong roots, the analysis of the text strong roots by me ends here. Now, before ending this audio clip, I would like to say a few words on the text strong roots. The key words of the text strong roots. The key words of the text strong roots. Now, dear students, please try to remember all these. The text strong roots is an opening chapter, is the first chapter of his autobiography, of Kalam's autobiography, Wings of Fire. So this is obvious that in this text Kalam has described how his early life was. And after finishing this text, we have learned that Kalam's childhood was very secure. Kalam's early life was very healthy, happy, and his life was quite different from the others. Since his childhood, Kalam was very thoughtful, was very much thoughtful, and he would spend most of his time with his father. His father was a very religious person, truly an educated person, a truly educated person, from whom Kalam had learnt so many lessons of life that he has shared with the readers in his autobiography Wings of Fire. And in this opening chapter of the book, The Wings of Fire. Now, we also have learned so many useful lessons of life from this text. Now, one thing must be analyzed before finishing this audio clip. Why is this text called strong roots? Now try to know the meaning of these two words, strong roots. Roots means, roots here mean the family backgrounds. And after reading this text, I have come to know, and you will also come to know, that Kalam's family life was definitely strong. Kalam's family background was definitely strong. and strong in the respect that his family background had no problems, had no disputes. Rather, in the family background of Kalam, there was love, happiness, peace, humanity. So, that was strong enough for Kalam to grow a great human being, not only of our country but also of the whole world. His family background was strong enough for Kalam to become an eminent scientist of the whole nation and of the whole world as well. So the take strong roots in which Kalam had given an account of his early life and his family background is rightly called strong roots. Now, dear students, I end this audio clip here. I hope that you all will listen to this audio clip till the end, and after that you will go through the text and understand the text very well. Goodbye.